I want to talk about three things today. The first is the evolution of tweets as a creative medium. There's still 140 characters, but it's 140 characters that have gotten richer and more interactive over time. Next, I want to talk about the Ads API and how it's enabling you to buy at scale, buy Twitter at scale, and also integrate Twitter into the other buying platforms that you use. And third, we just had a major launch yesterday. For the first time ever, we're allowing you to target users on Twitter based on the content of their public tweets. We've seen some amazing use cases of this as we betaed the product, some from some folks in here. I want to walk you through some results and kind of talk about how the product works. So first, Twitter is a creative medium. Let's take a step back. Who remembers back in 2009 when there was a plane that took off the US, both of its engines ended up having problems, and it actually had to do a crash landing in the Hudson. The pilot amazingly somehow landed the plane in the middle of the Hudson, and this guy, Janice Crumbs, was the first guy. He happened to be on a ferry. Suddenly there was a plane in the middle of the Hudson with people out on the wing waiting to be picked up, and he was the first one to tweet about it. He had 17 followers at the time, but he broke the news. It was amazing. He was on CNN. It was this tweet that everyone used. It was this tweet that everyone led with as they talked about the story. But if you're a user, it was a tough experience. It was just 140 characters. There was a link to TwitPic. What's that? If you actually clicked it, it opened in a new browser window, and you're off on some other page having a different experience. And by the way, he had to go to TwitPic and upload his photo and then copy a link and then paste that into a tweet, and it was a tough experience. So we heard users, and we started thinking about what can we do within tweets? How can we make the tweet still 140 characters, but how can the tweet become a caption into a richer experience that users can interact with directly on Twitter? And so we experimented. We tried doing things like whenever anybody tweeted an Amazon link, you would see an image, you would see details, ratings, reviews. If you tweet a music link, you could play music right within Twitter. And the response was incredible. The engagement was great. Users loved it. And so we took that feedback and we turned it into a platform. This is something we call Twitter cards. And at first there are 3 cards. There's a photo card. So when you tweet a photo, first you can do it natively on Twitter, but regardless of where the photo comes from, you tweet a photo, you can view it right within the tweet. So J. Crumb's photo of the plane in the Hudson now, you no longer have to go to a separate place to view it. In the same way, we can bring video onto Twitter, and you can have amazing video experiences right within a tweet. And that's true whether you're on your desktop or you're on mobile or any of the other devices and platforms that Twitter supports. It all just works. The third experience that we built was the summary card. So if you link to a news article or a story, we'll bring in a blurb from the story, a title, a headline, an image, and you get not the whole article, because that's not what Twitter's about, but a snackable amount of content right within the tweet, and then you can decide to click on through. These have been, the user feedback has been great, and we've been investing in this platform, and about a little while ago released a new set of cards, a new set of opportunities to build experiences into Twitter, a lot specifically focused on what we can do in mobile. As Bruce said, something like 80% of the users in the UK who use Twitter are using it on their mobile devices. And we think there's an incredible amount of things that we can do to build great mobile experiences within Twitter and between apps. So in particular, there's now a seamless integration. You can make Twitter seamlessly integrate with other applications. So who here uses Vine? Posting 6-second looping videos. This is a company that Twitter bought. It's been amazing to see the growth. It was #1 in the App Store recently. We're seeing incredible adoption both among consumers and among brands, which is great. But now when you post a Vine onto Twitter, you can watch the video inside the tweet like you expect, like you always can, but you can also natively link directly into the app, directly into where that video is in Vine, so that you can go on experiencing great content in Vine the same way you would. And it's not just about Twitter-owned and operated applications, it's any application on Twitter. So If you take the example of Flickr, you post a photo from Flickr, you can jump directly into the Flickr app to start viewing that photo, to view the user's related photos, everything you would want to do within the Flickr application. And it's smart. So if you don't have Flickr installed, instead of saying view an application, it turns into a download link. So you're able to download the app right from within Twitter and then go on. So these new cards allow you both to gain users, gain downloads of your app, and to re-engage existing users. But it's not just about mobile. We're also enabling fascinating and engaging product experiences within cards. So you can now build a card that lets you bring in a price, ratings, and you can imagine a buying experience right within Twitter. Today, you can't actually buy within the tweet, but this is just the beginning for us. Over time, you're going to see these experiences become richer, more real-time, and more interactive. It's just the beginning. So that's the creative experience. But how do you make that scale? We've put a ton of work on our team into building the simplest and most effective campaign management and analytics UI that we can for you. We continue to invest in that, and actually we recently just rolled out a brand new version of it with deeper reporting, more granular reporting, so any kind of targeting that you do, you can break down how your campaign is performed by that form of targeting. And we're going to continue to invest in our own idea of the most efficient and effective campaign UI. But we realize that you want to A, perhaps buy at greater scale, and you want to integrate Twitter into your existing buying platforms. So we've rolled out an ads API about 8 weeks ago with an initial set of partners. Hootsuite, specifically focused around SMBs, TBG here in the UK, Adobe, Salesforce, and Shift. We've seen some amazing developments from them. They're taking the platform in different ways. TBG in particular has built a really interesting TV mashup where you can very quickly and easily buy promoted tweets on Twitter around the TV, your TV campaigns that you're doing. Adobe has seen some amazing results where by taking advantage of creative opportunities on Twitter, they've reduced the cost per follow of promoted accounts by 60%. And we're going to continue rolling out our ads API thoughtfully. We're adding new partners, taking on new opportunities. And you know, we're Twitter. We were built, an API is part of our DNA. We saw the innovation that happened when we allowed millions of developers to build on top of our platform. And so it's natural that we would do the same thing with our advertising ecosystem. In particular, we're committed to making it 100% a first-class citizen. When we launch new features, we'll launch them both in our UI and on the API. The API will have every form of targeting that you know and love on Twitter. In particular, our bread and butter, lookalikes, and interest targeting. And actually, just to take a second to talk about that, interest targeting on Twitter, using the interest graph, using the graph of follows, has been incredibly powerful for us. There are a number of reasons, but two in particular stand out to me. One is the asymmetric nature of the follow graph on Twitter. So I can follow Bruce Daisley, and Bruce follows me back. We know each other, we work together. It may or may not represent the idea that we actually share interests. We work together, we know each other. But I'm a runner and I'm a cyclist, and I follow a lot of professional athletes on Twitter, and they don't follow me back. That indicates a direct interest of mine. I'm also an engineer by background, and I follow a lot of open source projects. I follow a lot of interesting tech companies. That's another interest of mine. The follows that are unrequited, if you will, people you follow who don't follow you back, provide an amazing view into who you are and what you're interested in. And it's not something static either. The other interesting thing is that unfollows are easy and they're common. People curate their graph in real time. They change who they follow. And because they do that, the follow graph actually represents a notion of who you're interested in, what kinds of things you're interested in right now. The combination of those two things, when you look across our 200 million plus active users, every single one of those active users has a different follow graph, has a different profile, and that's what makes targeting using interests on Twitter so effective. And of course, you can layer in on top of that. You can target by mobile device. So you can say, I just want to reach users on iOS and Android. I just want to reach users on their mobile device. You can leverage geo-targeting, which, especially with mobile, is becoming more and more granular, more and more real-time. And actually, to give you a sense of how effective the interest graph can be, we can do gender targeting on Twitter, but we don't ever ask users for their gender. It's just something that we can model very effectively from the interest graph and from the public signals that we get on Twitter. But up until now, our targeting has really been based around the who. We had a big launch yesterday, keyword targeting in timelines, which allows you to make targeting about the when. It allows you to target users based on the content of their public tweets and reach them right when they express intent in your brand or your product, intent around an event. So I want to give you a quick example of how this works. And I want to talk through a few examples from folks in this room who had some amazing campaigns while we were doing beta testing. So Diana tweets, I could really use a triple latte right now. Hashtag need caffeine. The coffee shop around the corner has set up their campaign. It's kind of like setting up a search campaign. You enter in keywords that you want to target. You're reaching users who are tweeting about those keywords in real time. Twitter's a real-time platform. The very next thing that Diana can see in her timeline may be a promoted tweet saying, hey, come on around the corner, get 20% off, just show us this tweet. It's serendipity. It's the moment you express a desire for something by publicly tweeting about it on Twitter, you as a marketer have an opportunity to get in front of that person at that moment. There are a couple of really amazing examples. The first one from Sky. Sky's launched a new streaming service, Now TV by Sky. And they were targeting people who were talking about the Manchester United versus Manchester City football match. So they had, and what they were trying to do was get them to come and watch the game on their streaming service for free. So you've got an opportunity, you've got people who are talking about the football match, expressing intent, rooting for one team, rooting for another, and you're saying, hey, come on over here and watch this thing live. What better experience could you possibly have as a consumer on Twitter? And it showed in their engagement rate. Twitter is known, the hallmark of our ad platform is our engagement rates. We see 1% to 3% engagement rate on average. Sky saw 8% across their campaigns. Some of their campaigns actually had double-digit engagement rates. And I want to pause here just to stimulate some people's thinking a little bit. Imagine what else you could do if you're interested in targeting people as they're watching a football match. It's not just about direct response, although that's an amazing use case. Imagine you're a TV advertiser. Your advertising is already showing up on around this football match. So you're as branding focused as you get. You have every reason to want to reach these same users as they are expressing intent about the game on Twitter. So as the TV advertiser, every show that your ads are showing up on, you want to reach those same users on Twitter, you're going to target the hashtags and the words that people are using as they watch those shows on TV. And it's not just about big brands. If you're the local pub around the corner and you've got a happy hour, you're trying to get people to come into the pub and watch the game, you want to reach those same users who are talking about Man U versus Manchester City, layering on geo-targeting to reach them just when they're around your location, probably layering on device targeting to only reach users who are on their mobile devices, who are on the go, and say, hey, come on in, we've got, you're already interested in the game, we've got the game on, and we've got 20% off drinks for the next 2 hours. So it's a platform, it's a product that can be used across the entire marketing funnel, from big brands to small businesses. And we're super excited about it. Another example I wanted to talk about, it's not just sports people are talking about on Twitter. Another thing people love to talk about on Twitter is technology. And Everything Everywhere realized that, and they started targeting users around the Galaxy S4 launch. They wanted to reach users who were talking about the Galaxy S4. And they provided them an amazing opportunity. If you're talking about the Galaxy S4, you're talking about this new phone that's coming out, suddenly the next thing you see in your timeline is an ad saying, hey, come on in and pre-order this. As a user, again, it's the exact thing you want. Part of the amazing thing about Twitter is that people like our ads. When ads are well done, they feel like content, they feel natural, they just fit within the experience. This is exactly what you want in that scenario, and it shows. Everything Everywhere saw a 5.5% engagement rate, and not only that, but their cost per engagement was 66% lower. We say at Twitter, it's not, you succeed on Twitter not by being loud, but by being good. This is an example of that. You put relevant content in front of people, they love it, they engage with it, and it's a win for you as a marketer and for every consumer that interacts with your campaign. So we talked about three things: the evolution of the creative opportunities on Twitter, our ads API and the ability to buy ads at scale, and keyword targeting, the ability to target users based on the content of their public tweets. And before I get off the stage and hand it back to Bruce, I want to say thank you both for being here, but personally working on the product. The feedback that you guys give us every day truly helps us develop our roadmap. The feedback that you give Bruce, the things that when you talk to Bruce and the team about what's working, what's not working, what you need, that gets back to us and it really helps us understand what we need to build for you. So keep doing that. We've got a lot of stuff coming in the back half of the year, and we're super excited to keep working with you guys. Thank you.